students we have here now. It's interesting. And I'll go back in students project. And now we start with the first studio. Today I wanted to go through studio number 1 and studio number 2. If we don't have time to finish today, that's fine. So I will go again in the class and I'll open all the studios here, class studio view all. And I'll open studio 1 ways to move, if you see at the bottom there. Now, I advise you don't think it's boring, because there are some tricks and tips that you need to learn, even if you can already do some animation or cards. So we'll
what do I press?
Sorry?
What do I press to get to your screen?
Actually, you know what? You don't need to. I will share my screen with the studio. What you need to do is to create a new project. So you go here and create a new project. Let's start from there. Just create a new project. It's not necessary for you to be in the studio, because I will share it. I'll share the screen. Create a new one. And let's give it a title, lesson 1 something. You know, your lesson 1, so you can give it a title here.
Okay.
About moving, I said you can code anyway. It's good for you to know it's in lesson 1. All right, and now share. Make sure you share it. See, we click here right away on share.
1 second, I'm still typing it in.
Okay.
All right, and then where do I go?
You just create, here next to Scratch, you just create a page, click on create to create a new project.
Yeah, that's what I did.
You did? So did everybody create a new page, a new project?
Yeah.
I just finished writing the lesson 1 thing.
Okay. Right, well.
Just press enter, right? After you typed it, press enter.
Yeah.
Now I have to go back. And here next to the title, where you were, here next to the title, there is a button and it was orange. It was asking you to share. Mine is blue because I already shared it.
All right, so I'll press that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, and now you can see the project page. Then I will be able to get access to it too. Now we go back inside and you'll probably want a backdrop. So what we do now, at the bottom here, you see my screen, right? We have the place where you choose a sprite and the place where you choose a backdrop. You already know. Now from the backdrop, let's choose something plain and simple when you can easily walk, because we can't have many colors. We need something simple where you can see the movement. I usually choose a boardwalk, but you can choose any of these things, and like blue sky or beach Malibu, you know, a plain simple backdrop where you can see the sprite moving easily. Beach, Rio, Arctic, whichever you like. Okay, I'll choose blue sky, so it's very visible. Okay.
Would the moon work?
What does it want? Anybody has a problem with choosing a backdrop?
I'm still choosing a backdrop.
Okay.
So Miss Adina, I picked the moon. Is that fine?
Which one?
If you go to space.
Oh, okay. I did. I just stayed in. Okay, you choose a moon. Perfectly fine. Look, I'll add it to here. It's interesting because it's plain and you can easily track the movement. That's what I wanted. So you have a background. Okay. Now
I choose.
Just so everybody can see, now we have a sprite and we have a backdrop or more of them. You know, where you pick them is next to each other. Now the menu on the top here where you see the codes, the menu will change depending whichever you click. Now, if I click on the sprite, what do you see on the top here? Code, costumes, and sounds. Costumes are for the sprites. If you click on costumes, see, you can check how many costumes a sprite has. And then you can experiment. See, this sprite is allowed to walk. Another sprite will be able to fly or will be able to change colors. So we have 2 costumes. And we go back in code. Did everybody see the costumes of the sprite?
Yeah.
Okay, we click on code. Now, if you go back and instead of clicking on the sprite, you click on the backdrop you chose, you will see that the menu on top here changes. So now next to the code, you will see the backdrop. So let's click on the backdrop. So this allows you on the left to see the backdrops that you chose already. So we have the original one, which is just empty. And then for me, it's a blue sky and it's a moon. And you will choose which one you want to stay on. And we go back on code, back to code. And I will want to go click on sprite again because we work on sprite now, on the sprite. Did everybody see this? Okay, so the menu will show you what the characteristics of the sprites and of the backdrops. Now, another thing you see here is there are many buttons on many colors. See? These are categories of code. If we just scroll down, you'll see all the code types coming, all the tags coming, blocks of different colors. But we can also jump to each category by clicking on the color. So we have motion blocks. Then we have looks blocks, how they look like or how we change their look. We have the category about sounds, the main blocks we need for working with sounds. Events, these are the ones to start with. We always start with the events. What happens when we click on something? And then control, which means for how many times we want to repeat, what will happen if we put conditions. Sensing, we'll get here later when we play with the mouse. Operators, again, when we get to the math classes, we get here. Variables, again, a little bit later. My blocks, when we create and define our own blocks. Now there is another one that doesn't show here, but it will show when we get to the studio. It's called pen, which is it allows you to use a pen on the screen. Now we go back to motion and we'll be able to see all the blocks again. So we have a project started and it's about lesson. Now I'm going to go back to my studios. Let me see how I navigate there super fast. And I'll click on Studio One, just me, you don't have to do that. I'll just go there because I'll share my screen so you can see what I'm working on. And you will be working in your lesson 1. So now I open my lesson 1, which apparently is very simple, but it has a few tricks here. And you will be working on your lesson. So what did I do here? I showed you last time. If I have 2 events, I have 2 options, 2 events. The first event is to click the green flag to make something happen. The other one was to click space key to make something happen. So if I click the green flag, the cat will move around and then I stop. And if I click the space key, it will move around again. The difference is that it will stop. It will not go on forever. So now we go inside and we'll see these options. As you see here, in events, we have the events of that trigger something to happen. And you know how we bring it here. Either when I click on the green flag or when I click on this sprite, that means when I'm going to click on the cat, something will happen. So right now, if I click on the green flag, the sprite will move. If I choose to move this entire block over here, nothing will happen when I click the green flag. But when I click the sprite, it will happen. So we choose the event that will make that thing happen. Now, I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to keep it like this for now. Now, what do I want it to do? I want it to move 10 steps. Where do I find it? First of all, I go to motion, and I say I want it to move 10 steps when I click on this sprite. Now 10 steps is very little distance in Scratch. Look, I click on it, it only goes a little bit. So 10 steps is very little. So what will I want to do to make it go longer? I would want it to repeat several times, right? So if I go in control and I choose this block that makes that action repeat several times, and I put it around moving, what will happen? It will make 10 steps 10 times. It finishes 10 steps, it starts over, right? So now I click on the sprite and it goes 10 times. But now I lost it. I lost it. How do I make it come back? I will need to put a condition if it reached the edge to come back. And the condition there is if on edge bounce. Again, it's blue, so we find it in motion, right? So what's going to happen? We find it here. Here it is, if on edge bounce. And I will add it after moving. So what is this sprite going to do? It's going to make 10 steps if on edge bounce. If it didn't reach the edge yet, it will keep going. And then again and again times. Then eventually it will reach the edge and it will bounce back. So now look, I have a tail here. I'm going to click on it and it goes 10 times. What about I put here a bit like, how many times am I going to put it? I'm going to put 25 times because I want it to reach the edge, right? Now I'll click on it.
About putting things away.
Make it bigger. I keep clicking on it. I click on it, then when it reaches the edge, it bounces back. Now, what is the difference in this case? In this case, I said I click the space button. When I click the green flag, it's not going to repeat only 25 times. It's going to repeat forever. What is the difference? That means it never stops. If instead of asking it to repeat 25 times, we ask it to repeat forever, it means it never stops unless we stop the game. So I click on the green flag and it keeps on going and keeps on going, and it never stops unless I click on the green flag. Okay? Did everybody understand this?
Yes.
Now, you keep on working on your project, and at the end of the class, you can share it with me, and you can add any other features that you like about it. Like you repeat as many times you want, right? Or you make it go as many steps you want. So,
Miss Adina,
yes?
like, so for the sprite, can you choose whatever sprite we like?
You can choose any sprite you want. I chose a simple one for now, but I also chose it for a different reason. This one allows walking. So the next thing we do, I'll show you how it's like when it moves like walking. Right now, we just move from one side to one side. But then we want to make it look like walking. So I am going to go back in the studios.
Oh, I only have a lot to do.
Ways to move. So I think this is lesson 3. Okay, click the green flag to make the cat move like walking to the edge and back, which means it will bounce back when it gets to the edge a number of times. And then in the second case, it will just go on forever. See? So the difference here is that I made the Scratch move like walking. How do we do this? Now, if I click on the cat, it will actually move forever. It will not stop. It will bounce back at the edge and move on forever. Now let's look inside. I suppose that many of you will know how to do it, but I'll still have to explain it for somebody who doesn't.
I think like Adina, they can follow along and finish lesson 1 and come to this level, because some of them, they are total beginners. So introducing
okay.
this at this point, maybe.
Did everybody finish the lesson 1 with just
No.
walking a few steps and back?
Not yet. I don't
Not
think
yet.
everybody finished. So we can do step by step and get it complete.
Yes? All right. So what about we go now in students project. I'm going to open students project.
I think Michaela has a question. Yes,
Yes.
go ahead.
So you said finish a project?
Finish a project for lesson 1. That was your project for lesson 1.
So,
When you finish that, just make the scratch, walk back and forth as many steps as you want and repeat as many times as you want.
so you want them to do it now or do it as homework?
It will be easier if we check here. So if you share it now, for example, if you're ready, I don't want to display your project till you're ready. So if you tell me that you're ready, I can go in my students projects and include them here. So who's ready to share the project?
So maybe if you open the same coding for it, they can see it and follow it step by step.
My lesson or their lesson?
Yeah, your lesson, if you share on the screen, they can see it on the side and do it step by step.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me go back to lesson 1 then. Now, lesson 1 is already shared, so let's look inside again. So all we did here is one sprite. It can be any sprite. Try to make it walk to the edge and come back. Now you can choose the event you want. So from events, the yellow tab, you can choose to make it move when you click on the green flag, or when you click the space key, or any other key. If you choose click on the space key, from here, from the arrow down, you can choose any other key that you want to click to make the sprite move. Like up arrow, like right arrow, it will make more sense to make it go to the right, right? So you can choose any of these, or you can choose when we click this sprite. These are the most popular. When you click this sprite, what's going to happen? So the first thing you do, let's try again. When we click this sprite, the first thing you do, you go in motion. So you click on blue button, motion, pick move 10 steps. We can change here. We can say, see, I click on the number and I can change to 20 steps. But it's still not going to be enough. So we'll have to make it repeat several times. So to make it repeat, you see I use the orange one. So I go to control, the orange button right here on the left. Control. And I choose, let's say, repeat forever. And I drop it here to go around move. Now, if it went under, like it happens sometimes, it goes like this, you just pick move, the motion block, and you click it inside. Did everybody do this? Now let's ask, is anybody still working on it?
I did it.
I did it and I edited it a little bit.
Okay. Does anybody need to a bit more time to work on it? Okay. You need help with anything? Let us know. Did you succeed to add the event when this sprite is clicked or when the green flag is clicked? Nina? I saw you.
I did it. I did when this sprite clicked.
When this sprite clicked. Did you add there to move several steps?
Yes.
Did you put a control block around it to repeat forever or to repeat several times?
Yes.
Okay. Now everybody, you can choose as many steps you want. Don't put too many. So 20 would be okay. All right. So now after we finish this, we have an event when this price is clicked or when the green flag is clicked. And we have the sprite will move 10 steps or 20 steps, and this will repeat forever. But we want to make it come back when it reaches the edge. So this is again, you see it's blue. We go back to the motion category, and there just scroll a little bit down till you find, we go a little bit down, if on edge bounce. Do you see? You need to go a little bit down to find it. Did everybody find if on edge bounce?
Yes.
So from here we pick it and we place it right under moving before repeating. Move 20 steps, and if on edge bounce, which means come back. If you reach the edge, come back so we don't lose the sprite. Did everybody succeed to do it?
I did.
Anybody need more time to work on it?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you need any help? Yes. Do you need any help?
When I put when space key pressed, repeat 25 times, move 10 steps if on edge bounce.
Yes.
And then when it bounced, it turned like upside down.
What kind of sprite do you have? Is it a cat?
No, I was using a different sprite.
Some sprites have different type of movement. That's why I chose a simple one. Can you tell me, you see, does it look like this? So is it like move the steps and if on edge bounce inside the forever repeat? Or repeat several times block?
Alright.
Is it like that? You need to have the motion blocks pressed inside the control block that is telling you to repeat.
I did exactly the same code like what Michaela says. With the first sprite, it's turning upside down. You have used the second one, right?
I know why. I think I know why.
Uh-huh.
So if you go down in the motions thing, there's this thing called set rotation style, and it needs to be set to left and right. So it's like right above. It's like right below if on edge bounce.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you need to set it. Put it.
Yeah, because
You need to drag it out.
yep, I've now changed the sprite to the cat, but still going.
Upside down. Can you share the screen with me? I'll stop sharing, and can you share the screen with me?
So share my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
So what it does, it goes around. Can I see your code? It bounces back and it turns around coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Karthik said to add rotation style left to right, that's fixing this error.
Yes. This seems to be a new thing. I didn't need it.
Yeah, so you need to put
Okay,
set rotation style left to right, and that goes in above the if on edge bounce.
If you click on the arrow where you choose left to right, see you have the options there not to rotate.
All right.
Don't rotate. Do you see?
If it's not rotate, it's just gonna be pointing one direction. Like if it's facing right, when it goes on the edge, it's gonna be facing right forever.
Yes, Michaela, pull that one which says set rotation style.
Yes, so you by default you had all around. I tested it, and on my screen I can see if you choose all around, it will go upside down.
Alrighty, let's see.
Yeah. If you choose left to right, it will not turn upside down. But it's interesting, if you choose don't rotate, that means the sprite will come back walking backwards. So it will not flip, it will not rotate to go in the right direction. And if you click don't rotate, it will just go back and forth walking backwards.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting to see. This is a new feature, they keep on adding new features.
Wait, I thought that feature was around since Scratch 2.0.
Yeah, because I added turn 15 degrees, but it's
That will spin. If you turn it 2 degrees, that will spin. That will be in the Studio 2 when you learn about how to spin.
Wait, did it put my screen?
Yeah.
so so how do I get it without turning upside down or spinning?
For spin, so we'll get there. You need to put a rotation angle, but we have a whole studio about spinning and rotating, and like making circles and geometric forms on the sky, depending on what angle we use for that. If you look in Studio 2, you'll see it's all about spinning and rotating.
Okay.
In this one, it's only for now, it's just about going back and forth. Yes, so that depends on the angle you put to go across. And we'll have to talk about angles a little bit and degrees before we teach that. So let's see now, can we include your lesson 1? Did everybody finish this lesson 1 now? Nina, did you do it too? All right. Now, let me see now if I go in student projects. Okay, I'll try to add a few things here. Let's see which ones are ready. And let me share the screen now. You can add them yourself. Look, Kartik already added his. You can click on add and add your own project. For now, let me just do it myself, but you can do it yourself. Put it in the student studio, but only in the student studio. One about moving, scamming. Lesson 1 Swesha. And Kartik is already there, so I don't need to edit twice. All right. Let's see. Click the green flag. Do you see, guys, how Kartik already showed instructions? I need to know what to do. So when you decide which event you choose, click on the sprite or click on the green flag. On the project page, you need to write instructions here so we know what we do. Now click the green flag to make the cat move. Or you made it jump in the air, all right? Okay, you're a bit ahead. And click the key A, so I'll stop first. Click the key A to see the cat go crazy. All right, well, that you're in spinning and turning now. You're in Studio 2. All right, good try. See, came in now. You didn't write instructions for me, so I will have to look inside. So you see, if I click see inside, okay, you tried a few things. So when the green flag is clicked, move 20 steps, okay, but it goes upside down. If you please click any key, all right, repeat 20 times, forever. All right, now if you want to not go upside down anymore, come in, can you pay attention a bit? Okay, if you want to not go upside down anymore, we are in motion, see? We scroll a little bit down, and do you see here, like Artie found, right under if on edge bounce, you see set rotation style. Do you see it? I'm going to edit for you. Can you see it? Do you mind if I edit? I edit it in one block and then you can edit in all of them yourself. So I edit in the first block, right after, under if on edge bounce. Now in my account here, it was already set left to right. So it has to be set left to right so it doesn't go upside down anymore. So if you include here set rotation style, set left to right, choose left to right from the list, then now it's not going to turn upside down anymore. And you can add this everywhere in all your blocks. Now let's go back. Let's see dancing folder. I don't have instructions, that means I'm going to look inside. When space key is pressed forever, now let's see if in your count is. Do you know what happens here? So your sprite was somehow put to point to a certain direction. Now, stop it. Make it.
Yes, it turned because I put the turn 15 degrees button and then it turned 15 degrees and then I couldn't turn it back.
Yes, can you turn it back? I can put a script like turn. If I add turn 15 degrees first and then move 10 steps, let's see what happens. Raise space key. Okay, so now we are spinning. So I will go in events and choose when this sprite is clicked. When it goes in a position like that, you can make it flat with a simple thing like this. When this sprite is clicked, turn 15 degrees without repeating. You just click on the sprite till it goes in the right position. See, so I can go forever now till I get it to be horizontal. So without repeating, just when this sprite is clicked, turn 15 degrees. And now I think it's in an approximately right position. So if we go and click on the sprite, now we have the space key. All right, now it goes upside down too. So what do we do? Do you remember what we do? We go in motion. We look for if on edge bounce and then set rotation style. We'll edit right after if on edge bounce. And we make sure it's set to left to right. So now the key is pressed and it goes in the right direction and it doesn't spin anymore. Is it good? Now you can experiment to this as much as you want. And we stop. Now we have one more to see.
Can you show them how to add instructions step by step?
Here in the instructions. In the instructions, you just click I cannot add instruction because it is your project. So when you go on the, here, so we are inside here, right? We are inside. And I go see project page. Do you see this up here? Do you see project page? You click on see project page, and this is the initial project page. Now only the creator of the project can write instructions here. You will be able to just click and write. It's all you do, you just click and write. So if you want the person the viewer to know what to do without looking inside, now I know I have to press the keys, the space bar, but a person just coming on watching your project will not know. So you need to write an instruction. Right? Go back. And we have another one from Swesha. Click the green flag to see the can move horizontal. You made it move like walking. So it means you changed costumes, right? You change the costumes.
Yes.
Yes. So this is what we are going to do in that lesson 3. Very good. I'll show to them one by one how to do this, okay? Now we go back here. Let's see if we have any more to add, because we only added like, Kartik, where is your project? You deleted it, you took it away.
No, I didn't delete it.
I can't see it anymore. Oh, it's right here. No, it's your card. I don't see your moving lesson anymore.
I didn't delete my moving lesson either.
Okay, let me look for it. You just disappeared.
We didn't see Nina's project yet.
Kartik, okay. Nina's project, how does it look like? Now, which one is yours? Because I can see the birthday. What backdrop did you put, Nina?
I put the blue sky, I think it was called again.
Okay, blue sky would be just a plain blue. Are you sure you shared it? Because I don't see it here.
It's called Lesson 1 about moving.
Not about moving. Is it this one?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Click sprite to make it go forward. All right. Now, do you want to make it not go upside down?
Yeah.
Okay, we go inside. We see inside. So it's interesting because in my account, it was already, probably because I worked with it before, it was already set rotation style left to right. So under if on edge bounce, you find see rotation style. Let's stop it easy. And we are going to edit after if on edge bounce. And we make sure from the list that we check rotation style left to right. So let's click again. Now it's going right. Great. And you edit directions too. Do we have anyone to share? And is anybody here who didn't see the project display?
I think we have everybody done.
Okay. Now let's go back to the lesson. I really want to show you, since we are quite there, like almost there. I want to show you lesson 3 because the only difference is that we make the sprite walk like moving, like move like walking. Sorry, move like walking. So instead of the boring slide, it will actually use its legs. Now the difference compared to Swesha, who made it walk, Swesha made it walk very fast, it looked like running. What I had to do to make it slow was to add some waiting time. So let's go inside and let's see what I did here. I looked at the costumes. So again, if we click on the sprite right here, we go to the menu. Can everybody see? Next to the code, and this is the costumes. If we have 2 or more costumes, see, that animate the walking, we can switch between the 2 costumes to make the sprite walk. Look like it's actually walking. So we go back in code. We start in a very simple way, like I started here. When space key is pressed, move 10 steps, if on edge, bounce. And then we add a control to repeat 10 times. For now, it's just the way we know. Now, what we want to do before repeating is to go to the next costume. You know how we flip the pages. We all do this. We play with pages to go from one drawing to another. We go in looks because the costume is about the way the sprite looks. We pick the next costume from here, just a simple, this time just a simple one, next costume. And we insert it right at the top of the repeat or the bottom, either or. Because what it will do, it will move 2 steps and then move to the next costume. And of course, in case we reach the edge, it's going to bounce. You know what? I'm going to remove for now if on edge bounce, just to show you the simple way. So move 10 steps, next costume, and then repeat. 10 steps, next costume, repeat. Next steps, move, next costume, repeat. So space bar, see? Now I'm going to add if on edge bounce because I want it to come back. And then space bar again. We make a few steps. And it makes it look like walking. If we want to make it walk a bit slower, we need to add a waiting time. We need to wait between one costume and the other. So this waiting appears where it's orange. It's going to be in control. We are controlling the walk. That's what it means, right? Repeating the walk, control the walk in a certain way. Waiting between one costume and another, which means between one step and another, is also a control block, right? It helps us control it. The top of the control is waiting. 1 second is a little bit too long. But anyway, we pick waiting from here. And it's going to be at the top here. I like to put next costume at the top. It can be either at the bottom or the top, but I like to put it at the top. So we have
What
next
color?
Sorry?
What color do you find next costume?
Next costume is in look, in purple. It's about the way the sprite looks like, right? The costume and the backdrop, it's all about the way it looks like. And here is next backdrop. It's a very simple way. Now, if I put the waiting time, the way it comes as 1 second, it would be kind of slow. See? So what do we have to do? We can always click inside and make it 0.10 seconds, 0.25, like here I have a 0.25, 0.25. I think it's decent. Space key, and now it makes it walk instead of running. And if I remove this one and I stay with the one I had before, when this sprite is clicked, it will repeat forever. So I click on the sprite and it will come back and repeat forever. And let's make it here faster. So let's say 0.50. You can experiment with this and put the speed you want. You see, when we do storytelling animation, you will have to match this very well because the sprites will have to meet and interact with each other. And you don't want one to disappear from the screen before the other one arrives. So you will have to play with the speeds and the angles and the way they turn to actually make them collide or interact. You know what I showed you last time? There was ghost coming, there was a dragon coming, and we wanted the dragon to go towards the character, right? And meet in the right position at the right time. So that's when you have to play with all these. So let's click on it now. It goes a little bit faster. All right. Can you work on it? Should I wait a little bit for you to work on it, make it work, and let me know when you're done with it? And you actually here you can have it as a lesson 3, or you can just add it to lesson 1, however you want it. Do you want to create a new project and make it lesson 3? That means you would go right here again. I'll have to be on the main page. Let's see. In the students projects page, you create a new one, mention, call it lesson 3. Pick a backdrop very fast, pick a sprite or leave the sprite that's already there. Let's do it step by step to make it move like walking if you didn't do it already.
How do you make the pen?
We learn it in Studio Studio 2 in spinning after we spin around. Because what I did there was to show you how to make a drawing on the sky that's invisible, and then it appears when you put the pen down. See, you can see it here, but maybe in, I'll show you actually what happens. Studio, I need to go to the studios. Here. This is one when I use a pen. In lesson 6. There is a pen there, see? But in this case, click space key to make the arrow draw a square in the air. And then click the arrow to make it draw a hexagon. And the sprite can do the same. Any sprite can do this, a cat or anything else, but the arrow, I thought it was more visible, more clear what I did. So what happens here, when I already used the pen appeared under the blocks. I have no idea why. You cannot originally see it, but in the studio I actually use the pen, and you click on the pen. You look, see, it appears right under my blocks. It appears in the blocks column right
I
here.
know how to get the pen.
Can you see it? You look at the left where you see all the colors of the categories.
No, you see that little, like those 2 blocks, like right underneath at the very bottom of the place where you get all your blocks? Like right below the pen tool, like right below there. There's like,
Here.
yeah, that. You need to click on that. And then there's pen.
More that they are not originally there.
And you need to click pen. And then you get that option. But if you do it in a blank project without the pen will show up.
So these are additional objects. They are not originally in Scratch, so these are newer things, more recent things. So you can just add them if you want. But if they display there, it will make it more complex, too complex for you to actually be able to see all your categories to start with. So the simplest way to use a pen is to put the pen down and then pen up, and then pen down and pen up. So you have to start with pen down, and when you finish drawing, you take pen up. Now in my case here, I make the movement 4 times for making the square with an angle of 90 degrees. And then we repeat 6 times for making the hexagon, because of course you've got 6 sides. And it says I'm using a 60-degree line. Why? The angle of the hexagon is 120 degrees. But what happens? My arrow goes in one direction and it tends to keep going. It wants to keep going. I would have to make drawings. When you get here, I'll open a whiteboard and I'll draw on the whiteboard. So the arrow will just keep going, but I make it turn down 60 degrees. So this is what it measures from its original direction to the direction where I want it to go. Now let's go back to the lesson 3. I want to know if everybody succeeded to change costume and make the sprite walk. We have a horse that gallops. That's really nice. You can use a horse. I used it in the animation to do the same. Look, if I choose a, here, I'm going to choose another sprite. We go to animals, and I just like that horse. Here, the riding horse. If I add it here, I check the costumes first. It's got 2 costumes, so that's easy. See, it's going to run. And what I can do if I don't want to write everything again, what I can do very easily. Now everybody pay attention. I click sorry? I click on sprite 1 and I can pick this block. You see, when I click on it, entirely colors. I copy, I do Control-C or Command-C, depending on what kind of computer you use. I copy it. Then I click on the horse and I paste it here, the entire block. So now it will do the same that the cat does. But when I click the flag here, it will make both of them walk and pass each other. Of course, I need to change set rotation for the horse so it doesn't go upside down. So let's try again. Now they are going, one is running, one is walking, and they are going together. And that's because I clicked the green flag. Here I modify and instead I choose click on this sprite, then only the horse will go. They will not interfere with each other. And then I click on the cat and it will go separately. Do you see the difference? So this is just about adding next costume to make the movement look like natural walking or running. Did everybody finish here with the next costume?
Yes, I did.
I know you did. I'm asking everybody. Is there anybody who needs more time to do it? Okay. Did you create a new project and call the lesson 3 or you worked on your first project? I will need to know if I should add. So if you make the modification inside your lesson, then you can, if you made the modification inside your lesson, instead of creating a new lesson, that's okay. You will just click on the title and say lesson 1 and 3. So that will be lesson 1 and 3 put together. That's fine. But we need to be able to see in the studio here what you did. Okay, should we stop here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So let's watch it.
Anybody, if they want to show their costume changing project, they can share now. If they are done, we'll open it and we'll see it. Wrap up today's class. And
Oh, I shared mine.
Nina, this is yours.
Yeah.
Right? Nina,
Yeah.
this is yours, right? I can see that you don't have any code in the tab for the horse. Do you see? If I click on the cat sprite, I can see the code. If I click on the horse tab, I don't see any code. So you need to make the horse moving. So did you see what I did before? I I can write it from the beginning, so you can write the same code for the course or make it a little bit different, however you like it. Or you can copy paste the same code from sprite 1. I click on when this sprite is clicked. I copy it. The way I copy it is click on Control and C. You know how to copy on the computer, right? It's like
So
you know,
I press what? Control and
C. If you
okay.
if it works, you copy, and then you click on the force again. I don't know why it's called Fox in your case. Okay, now you click inside here, and then Control and V.
Okay.
Miss Adina, you can also drag the code to the sprite.
You can do that too. You can drag it from one to another, but it can get a little confusing if you lose it. So we don't have any code here. Let's see. So instead, now are you looking, Nina? Can you see the screen? If
Yeah.
you look at the screen, if you look at my screen, this is your project. So now I'm in the cat. I click on the cat, so I'm in the cat window. I can click and get it all colored yellow, and I drag it, and I put it on top of the horse. When I go there, it should be here, but it's not here. So see, sometimes you lose it, sometimes it doesn't really work.
Okay.
I got it.
You got it? Okay, it's right there. So now it's the same code for the horse, but you will probably want to modify something. You know, you will not leave the same style of walking. However, right now, okay, now what happens with the next costume? It doesn't change for the horse. Let's see. Next costume needs to be on top of on top of everything. So let's try now.
Wait, what if there's only one costume and one costume got deleted?
I'm trying to see. Yeah, so your horse has only one costume. That's very interesting. So you did it right, but the horse actually doesn't change the costume because you have a horse here that does not have costume. It's interesting. You probably pick a different sprite that I picked. It's important when you pick a new sprite, immediately look at the costumes to see what it offers. Because now we just expected it to run and gallop, and it didn't, and we didn't know why. And it's because it didn't have two costumes to change back and forth. So when you pick a sprite, make sure you look here first to see what it offers, to see what it can do. It can dance, it can jump, whatever it can do. So for now, anyway, it should work. It just doesn't work because there is no next costume. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Right. So this is like, Nina, are you looking for a second? I'm going to rename your project here. No, it doesn't let me rename. Only the author can rename it. So here you can say lesson 1 and 2 and 3. It's actually 1 and 3 because you completed lesson 3 too.
Okay. Okay, good. Lesson 1 through 3?
1 and 3. Lesson 2 is about something else. So lesson 1 and 3. 1 and 3. Fresh. Kartik, why don't you teach them how to add their own project themselves on this page?
Wait, right now?
Well, if they finish the project they want to share, not wait for me to edit. Dancing Code already edit. And here, all right, so it's all in here. It's all in here. We looked at Nina's. Let's see, Love Dancing Coder. Did you check if the horse had 2 costumes? Right. Okay, we have two of them going in
Awesome.
different directions. Awesome. Awesome. And you have a very nice background.
That's so good, Michaela.
Very nice. Sorry, I called it dancing powder again. It's easier for me because I see the name here.
Okay.
Now let's see. This is Kemin. Going well. All right. Kartik, wait a bit because I'm pretty sure you did something crazy there. So let's look at Swesha first. Is it, Swesha, did you do lesson 3 or you still on lesson 1? Oh no, you made it off work. Okay. Can you, right, lesson 1 and 3. Perfect. It's refreshed right now. Okay, I can see now. Now let's see what you did, Kartik, here. With the green flag. All right, so you have a flying cat and a walking space guy. Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Now tell me, did I miss any project from anybody? I believe we've seen them all, but did I miss anything?
No. So that's good. So we have 4 more minutes for today's class. So that's nice.
I can show you something and then give it to you as a homework. I think that would be a good idea because you're pretty smart and you're catching it. I mean, you always, it's good when you ask questions in advance, then I know that we can move on. Where do I need to go? I need to go to a different lesson and let you figure out how it's done.
How do you erase the pen?
I think
You can't really erase a pen. You can just remove it from your block and then refresh the page. That's what you do. You know, it's not like a paper. If you remove it and you refresh the page, it is just going to disappear from there. Or you can do something else actually. You can change the color of the pen and try to make it invisible and then keep drawing and then it will look like it erases it just because you change the color.
Clear all,
Change the color.
or use clear all eraser.
Mm-hmm.
so. You have homework to assign to them right now before we wrap
Yes,
up.
yes, that's what I'm looking. I'm looking at lesson 2. What is this? Okay, click the green flag to move the cat to make the cat move vertically up and down. So in this case, it doesn't go back and forth. It actually goes up and down. It has a glitch at the top there, but it always does it. It just goes up and down. Now, I'll show you what's inside, and I will leave you to do it on your own and share it for next time. The difference here to make it up and down is that you have to make it point upwards, you know? I know, George, a whiteboard. It will take 1 minute. I'll share a whiteboard and it will only take 1 minute. Is everybody watching? Okay.
Yes.
In Scratch, we have an horizontal direction line. Sorry for not drawing properly. I'm a bit rushed now. And a vertical way. Before we go on crazy angles like 45 degrees, 60 degrees, we have an horizontal line and a vertical line. Now, the top point is 0 degrees in Scratch. The direction 0. The bottom is 180. While the horizontal is 90 to the right and minus 90 to the left. Now, in the original Scratch, and I see it still works for me, I created these classes about 2 years ago. Horizontal is by default. So if you call it left and right, you will not have to mention any degrees, 90. It goes by default, left or right horizontal. But if I want to make it go up or down, I will have to put another motion block to set direction to go to 0 or to 80, okay? So now I'm going to share back to my screen. You can see here before in the repeat tab. Okay, so let's I have 2 blocks here. The first block, it makes it go up, and the second block makes it go down. So in the first block, before moving, I point in the direction 0. That means I want to go up. And in the second repeat block, I point in the direction 180 to make it go down. Then what did I do? I made them stick together, the first repeat and the second repeat, and then I embedded them again in another repeating block, which is called forever, because I wanted to go up and down and up and down and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
You understand, right?
Yes.
So I will let you look at this. So this is lesson 2, and try to create a project called lesson 2 and make it whatever sprite you want, you know, make it change anything you want. But the main idea is to make it to go up and down. And if you can also link it together, like I did it here, put it together. Or you can actually make it in variations. You can click on a sprite to make it go only up, and then click on something else to make it go down, and then click on something else to make it up and down, make it go up and down. See? So you give options. You have several options. So this will be homework next time.
Sounds good. So that's a good choice for you to make a Flappy Bird game if you want, you know, to change the costumes. So if you combine with it, you can make a flying dragon or a flying bird. So get as creative as possible and share with us for next class, okay? So with this, we'll wrap up today's
Just give me 1
session.
minute. Since you mentioned this, I will only open lesson 4, and I'm not even going to look inside. I will just open, because this is what lesson 4 does. Oh, no, sorry. That's not in here. That's in animation. Sorry, it's in a different studio. 1 second.
So Coach Case, for the homework,
Yes.
we can make a Flappy Bird game if we want.
I mean, for the beginners, they can just, when you press the space bar, a bird lifts off and then flies. They can do it that way. But since if you know a little bit extensive coding, you can change it into a game itself, okay?
So this is a lesson that I actually put in animation. And in this case, it goes up and down, but it also changes something. It also changes costumes in different ways.
Okay.
See, this is exactly what Coach K was suggesting. So I'm not going to show you inside now. Besides making it up and down, you'd also make it look at the costumes and make it change costumes.
Awesome. So lesson 2, if you're a beginner, follow lesson 2 and go inside, see the coding and try to recreate it. And if you want to challenge yourself, go and see the code in lesson 16 and see if you can understand and recreate it. Perfect? Yes. So we'll meet you all in next class next Saturday. So thank you so much.
Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Adina.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.